Hey guys, Jameson at Odd 6. I just wanted to give you guys a little update, and I think I'll do a little work video on the engine for my 1999 ZX6. As you can see, I'm putting the case back together. I'm going to show you guys me putting it back together. I got some gasket maker here. I'll explain what I did down here, and then we'll get right to it. To start off, I'd like to apologize for my delay of content and the lack of content on my channel. I've been very ill recently, so just haven't been able to crank it out, but I think we'll do that today. So to start, I went to my local Menards and I picked up some of this Permatex Ultra Black Gasket Maker Oil Resistant. Now, considering that we're using this for the crankcase, I think it's really important that we have it resistant to oil. So let me try and set you guys up in a good spot where you can see. There we go. So, to start, we're gonna just show you this guy apart. Takes a little bit of force, just because the dowel's like sticking up there. Now, keep in mind, if you're doing this, make sure you have a rubber mallet. You don't want to be using metal on metal here. There we go. So, I'm just going to lift this guy up a little bit. And I'd like to point out, when you're doing this, it's really, really important that you're cleaning this surface here. Now, this surface shouldn't have oil on it. I scraped mine down with a razor blade. And I used brake parts cleaner to make sure the surface was real clean. I'm gonna do that again, and then I think we should be good to start putting the gasket maker down. That works. Oh. We'll just take it off. That'll be fine. So we're gonna take a towel and then put some brake parts cleaner on it. Make sure it's good and saturated. And then we're just gonna go around and wipe every single one of the mating surfaces down with the brake parts cleaner. We wanna make sure everything's really clean so that we get a good bond. Now, another thing to look out for when you're doing this is to make sure there's some dowels on these transmission pieces here. Or not dowels, they're pins. And they line up with the top of the case. You gotta make sure that those are lined up correctly, or the case will not close. So just make sure they're pointed in the right direction. And then another thing to look out for, you got to make sure you have proper oil or proper clearance between the bearings of your crankshaft and the block. So you could use what's it called? The red plastic thing. I already did it, but you sandwich it in between, you torque it down, and you make sure that you have enough clearance. Mine is good, so we're going to get it closed for good. Just want to make sure every single bit is good and clean. We don't want oil leaks anywhere. Okay, so, oh, we forgot this bit. We're gonna grab another towel. There we go. So now we'll open up our gasket maker when we wait for all this to dry off. And let's see. We're gonna take it and we're gonna trim our nozzle just like that. Now remember, when you're opening this guy, you don't have to go messing around with that. The top of the cap will puncture it just perfect. So now, we're gonna take our gasket maker. We'll screw the cap on. There we go. And now let's start making our way around. We'll start right here. There we go. Now hopefully we have enough to get around the whole engine, because 1, 2, I thought it would be enough, but maybe not. Now the only complaint I have about this stuff is the tube is kind of hard to work with. So when you're trying to get your layer of gasket maker down, it's kind of a pain. Almost done here. Now I'm gonna add a little bit more to some other spots. And then I think I'm gonna even it out with my finger just so we have one continuous surface. And then I think we should be good. I'm just putting the cap there because I don't want to get gasket maker on my timing chain. I think so. Now, we're almost done here, but what I want to know, or what I was thinking is when I pulled this apart, there was like gasket maker on here, like between the two halves of the case. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to put it back there. I don't think it was open before this, so that would have been from the factory. And I don't want to not put it back that way if it's from the factory. So yeah, not sure about that. I think I'll put a little bit. I don't want to mess anything up though. I'm not quite sure the point of this, but if it was there from the factory, I want to put it back the way the factory had it. There we go. Now, we just touch up on a couple spots. Just to make sure. You can always add more sealant, or you can't always add more maker. Like, once you get this done, I don't plan on ever taking it apart again. No, I think that looks about good. Let me clean this gasket maker off my hands. And now, we'll make sure we have all of our little things in there. These little pins that I was talking about. Make sure like this oil pipe, we gotta make sure that has the hose clamp on it. I almost missed it before. But now, we close this thing back up. We'll just have to clean the timing chain, but that's okay. So, what I'm gonna start by doing, making sure the timing chain isn't being squished. Oh, there goes the back end. And now we have to just get the rods to all come through. These guys can be pains in the ass. There's one. There's another. And we have one more. Oh, come on. There we go. Oh. There we go. Okay. So now, let's just make sure everything's clear. Oh, there we go. And now, we'll give it some light taps with the rubber mallet just to make sure everything goes together smooth. There we go. This is looking really good. Okay. Now, the gasket maker says on the instructions that we should wait an hour until torquing the bolts to spec. So, I'll get back to you guys in an hour.